Greetings, friends. It is Thursday, June 11th, and this is your Chapo. On today's episode, Felix and I are joined by Ben Avery, host of the Lemon Party podcast. Ben, welcome to the show. Your first time.
Thank you, guys. This is going to be really fun. We're going to have a good time.
Indeed. And I guess I'd like to begin today's episode. We're sort of as always, very timely on this show. We're about a week behind on it. On last Thursday's episode, we did all the Graham Platner stuff, and then the New York Times dropped that big expose about all his ex-girlfriends, like the minute we stopped recording. And, you know, obviously this news is basically already dead because the primary is over and he won it. But I would like to talk a little bit about Graham for a little bit, and just because my take on the New York Times article is like, everyone says they want troops in the Senate, in government. But do they really? Do they really want troops serving in government? Because I'll just say the New York Times, the piece on Platner did seem to be sort of a flop. But I will say that I believe pretty much all of it. I find nothing described there to be like hard for me to believe. But I will say that the big takeaway for me from the New York Times Graham Platner expose is that he told the ex-girlfriend, in her words, that he would often tell her that if someone broke into their house, he would rape them, but not in a gay way and not in a sexual way, as a display of dominance. And I do love that he said rape is about power. And I love that he like onboarded sort of the last 20 years of like feminist thought on sexual assault and sexual violence, but used it to like to fantasize about committing more violence. But again,
like he'd be doing that, and then he'd also go, and by the way, this like isn't your fault. It has nothing to do with like what you were wearing. There's nothing that you could have done that would have stopped me from doing this, because this is about power, and we have to change our society completely to stop me from raping you for breaking into
It's
my
like
house.
the reverse of that Matt Walsh situation where he's like, I would kill 1,000 apes to save one man. And someone commented, would you suck 1,000 apes' dicks to save one man?
It would suck even one ape's dick.
Oh, yeah. Platner reversed it. I like that.
Yeah. No, I like that. Like, he's like, you know, like, rape is a crime of power. It's not about sex. It doesn't matter what the woman was wearing. However, it does matter what the burglar was wearing. If he comes in wearing one of those striped sweaters and a sort of like a black sort of ski mask on, he was asking for it.
That was originally going to be the inciting incident in the movie A History of Violence.
They're like, everyone thought he was such a nice guy. And then the two guys tried to rob the diner, and he raped both.
In front of everyone, he's getting like the line cooks to run a train on all the guys from Philadelphia.
He's the town hero. I mean, like I said, like the other allegations leveled against him among his sort of copious ex-girlfriends. This guy has a lot of ex-girlfriends.
Oh my God.
I did like another accusation, not really accusation, but rather observation, is that he kept an AR-15 in the apartment and would sharpen an axe while watching television. And I'm thinking, well, what better time is there to sharpen your axe other than watching television? What was he watching on TV? But
that's a weird choice for a home defense weapon. I don't know. I mean, I guess people have used axes in warfare, but like, I mean, he was in the army. He was in the we talked about this, how they put him in the dum-dum unit, and right on his back, opposite his Totenkopf, there's a tattoo of a bear trap commemorating the thing that fell half of his unit. The solder brigades just, they laid him out there. There was no way. They put a big ham sandwich in the middle of the bear trap, and boom, it was over. But
that's why he has PTSD.
Yeah, they give army guys these great, huge knives now. Marines get K-bars, and they're like fucking Tontos. I own a couple, and I use
I have one right
boxes.
Here. Kick ass.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
You see that, Felix?
Oh, my God. That is like an $8,000 in Counter-Strike knife. That is a beauty. This is M9 bayonet, right?
Yeah, it's nice. I've never used it, but I have somehow cut my hand on it like twice, just opening
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh, I bought a huge knife like that when I was like 13, and I would practice, what I thought was knife fighting from that Tommy Lee Jones and fucking Antonio Banderas movie.
Mm-hmm.
The Benicio, The Hunted, the great movie.
Oh yeah, Benicio del Toro. Yeah, The Hunted. Yeah, I would practice it in my room, and I obviously didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So I was doing some dumb move where I kicked and then slashed, and I still have the scar on my foot from just slicing it open. I don't even know what, because you'd be kicking someone away, then slashing at what. But anyway, I had it for like a month, and then it mysteriously disappeared from my room. And I know my mom just took it. I wasn't like a psycho. I didn't take it to school, but in axes, even you could definitely cut your. Who's that Wu-Tang affiliate that cut his dick off when he was on PCP?
Oh, Big Lurch. Or no, that's the Houston guy. I'm trying to think of his name.
He ate someone, or alleged. There's a lot of doubt in that case. But Will, you would know that.
He cut his dick off before he even hit the ground. Like he jumped off of a hotel and ripped it off. Chris Bearer.
Christ Bearer. It says, on April 16th, 2014, Johnson Lee severed his own penis and jumped from a second-story balcony at an apartment in North Hollywood.
I love that there's
Johnson was one half of the rap star duo North Star, a Long Beach group discovered by Wu-Tang leader RZA in 1998. And you know what? I know Christ Bearer, that was tough for him cutting his dick off, but it was great to see him perform last night at halftime at Madison Square Garden.
I love that there's even a Boston Corvette of the Wu-Tang Clan. That that archetype of guy will always be evergreen, just a guy who just shows up with his dick cut off.
You would figure there'd be more Boston Corvettes for 5%er guys. Because that's if you just can't, I respect 5%. I don't want to make fun of it. I've been turned down for joining a ton of times, but if you couldn't stop fucking white woman, you would do the Boston Corvette,
Yeah, I mean, he was just he was traveling across the country, and he was just so upset about that he would visit the brothels and everything because he wanted to be Christian. He was and then he changed his name to Boston because he loved Boston so much. I mean, they say there's no zealot like a convert, and he was a born again Christian, and it is really true. I mean, I grew up with tons of Christians in Texas, and I never knew anyone who cut their own cock off.
It's well, what do you do? What do you do once you cut it off? You just give it to someone?
He just showed up to Bible study, I think, and they noticed a pool of blood in his pants.
They're like, Boston, are you okay?
No, that's the craziest thing about the story to me is that half of all people lived in a boarding house back then, which is already imagine being a 37-year-old man who cannot stop seeing prostitutes, and you have 82 roommates. That's already, I don't know how you believe in anything in those circumstances. But he cut his shit clean off. Not clean off, it was as best as good.
Yeah, it was, went to kind Bible of a hack study. Job.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm looking at his Wikipedia
he went to Bible
here.
study. He went to Bible study and tried to hold it together as best he could. And they noticed a pool of blood, and he just collapsed. And that's not what do you? It's not like one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, I thought I pulled something, but it turns out I tore my fucking ACL running. No, it's just I cut my cock off because I'm afraid of temptation.
Did you see what you if you're not tethered to this world anymore, what are you truly capable of? He killed John Wilkes Booth. He blew the back of his head off in a fiery barn.
In some sense, that was like a phantom pain. That was a phantom premature ejaculation.
I'm looking at his Wikipedia page here, and it says years later, a friend recounted Corbett saying that the Lord directed him in a vision or in some way to castrate himself, which he did with a pair of scissors. He then ate a meal and attended a prayer meeting before someone was sent for medical treatment. Corbett was released on August 15th. The friend recorded that he was very much gratified with the result, as his passion was not a trouble anymore. His object was that he might preach the gospel without being tormented by his passions. After being baptized on August 29th, Corbett changed his first name from Thomas to Boston, the city of his conversion. It says,
why do you have to get baptized after that? I mean, probably literally just to clean up all the blood and pus, but it is like, what, you're not dedicated enough? You need to go through that whole song and dance? You cut your shit off.
Well, I just a few lines down, it says here, in an attempt to imitate Jesus, Corbett began to wear his hair very long, but the Union Army forced him to cut it upon enlisting. And it's just like, oh, that he said, like, you think it was easy for him to see a pair of scissors again? Maybe.
I mean, he seemed pretty sanguine about the entire experience. So no, I mean, people used to be made of tougher stuff.
Yeah, but wait a second. If you wanted to sort of tame the unruly passions, the sort of the nocturnal energies that bedevil and cause men to fall into sin, wouldn't you cut your balls off, not your dick? Because like, then you just don't have a dick, but you still have all the same hormones and testosterone. So, I mean, maybe it's just like, I don't have a dick, so it's not a problem anymore. But like, if you're trying to get rid of your sinful thoughts, wouldn't cutting your balls off be a better way to do it?
Yeah, I'm starting to doubt Boston Court. This notoriously insane man knew what he was doing.
He seems like a fool. Yeah, seems like a real bozo.
yeah. This is Boston Corbett. I'm sorry, but you are today's donkey of the day.
I'm trying to think of like anybody, like even in the Bible, I know Moses is trying to get back into Egypt. And God, all of a sudden, changes his mind and is like, I'm going to fucking kill you now. And then his wife reaches across Moses and cuts like a piece of flesh off of her son's penis and offers it to God. And then God's like, all right, I'm not mad anymore. Thanks for that.
And we're doing that for everyone now. now everyone's got to do this.
That is very quick thinking by the wife, but also... that's the real mark of Cain. Every man who got his sensitivity ruined in gym shorts thereafter.
Yeah, just getting that rash on the tip of your penis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the ultimate, like, it's like the blood offering, you know? Like, that's the ultimate thing of, like, I don't know, I think it's deep in the collective unconscious of man to... I want to cut your cock off.
Yeah.
Like on some level, you're like, I should cut my cock off and throw it into the sun, you know? This thing is such a nuisance, you know?
It is the most direct way to solve like most of your problems.
Yeah.
That is, by the way, that is like what is so funny to me about the Jewish parts of the Bible is that it's half just like, you know, like human sacrifice. It's just, you're offering flesh, or you are completely intent on killing your son for God. You have to give the tip of your son's cock to God. And then the other half is like, I don't know if we should have 2 wheat-based meals on Wednesday. Seems like too much. Like all the other stuff, like Deuteronomy, all that other stuff is just like, you know, the priestly class, the old Jewish guys just like arguing over what types of cloth are sinful.
Speaking of the Old Testament, I was randomly I was considering the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, another classic from the Old Testament. And the idea there is that when the angels appeared to Lot and his family, like the people of Sodom were like, hey, you got angels in there? Can you send them out so we can rape them? We're just... Yeah, we're looking at... you got angels? Hey, by the way, if an angel breaks in my house, I'm raping them. Them. That's just the way it is. I don't care how loudly he blows that fucking trumpet.
It was just
not going to help him.
It was like described as like a city of like homosexuals. It's like, therefore, they're raping everything that moves.
I mean, I think it's like it's associated with homosexuality now because of like the term sodomy. But I think I think like it was really in the Bible times. There's really more a story about a city that didn't respect guests. It didn't know how to treat guests, and they were like, "Oh, got some angels here. Can we rape them?" Well, the point of the story then is that Lot, who is a godly man, says, "No, you can't. But you can have my daughters. Could you please rape my daughters instead?" And Lot's wife was like, "No, what are you talking about?" And when she turns around, it gets turned into a pillar of salt. Like that is, in a sense, her punishment for being hesitant to offer up her daughters as as victims of the mob in lieu of the angel.
What? I like an angel couldn't do something about. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, first of all, the guy who just sees the angel and is like, "Oh, you just need a good dicking, and then you'll stop being this weird floating ball of eyes." That is, I always think the guys who they get up to Reacher's nipple level, and they're like, "Get your big ass out of town, or I'm going to beat the shit out of you," are silly. But these guys take the cake. These were the ancestors of the guy who's trying to beat up Reacher.
One ghost gun briefcase in its equilibrium. It's the killer on your block. Melodic flux wore a flock of prophetic deaded bloods, chop it up in the bird.
So anyway, back to Graham Platner.
Graham Platner, yeah.
Like I said, basically, he was a Marine, and probably not the world's best boyfriend, but like everything that's just how I assume Marines act when they get back home.
Bad.
I mean, he's probably one of the better behaved ones of these guys, and it's just like, oh, he had anger issues, he was a drunk, fair is fair, but now the primary is over, and I have been enjoying seeing how badly this has fallen flat, because they clearly thought like that this might have made a difference, and maybe it will make a difference in the general election. But I did see him on CNN this morning, and Mika Brzezinski asked him, essentially, given all your sexting that you've been doing, like, isn't that a conflict of interest with your desire to release the Epstein files? She was like, how can you be an honest broker on Jeffrey Epstein when you've been sexting hoes? You've been texting hoes, Graham. And then John Fetterman today was like, he posted this. He was like, has he sent a dick pic? We still don't know. Has he sent a dick pic?
So we're equating being horny with child sex trafficking?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also adultery, which, like, for Mika Brzezinski and Morning Joe, everyone saw them like cheat on their respective spouses over
that was the appeal of their show.
Yeah. Well, Will, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Fetterman quote is, "So now it's just okay to be a senator and send dick pics." Well, he says you didn't see him. Well, let's see him. Which I don't know how to interpret that other than like, let's put your dick in a lineup so me and my Gollum pilot can examine your dick and determine which one is yours.
Well, I feel like Fetterman is like, obviously, look, he's obviously the senator from Tel Aviv, but like I think he's probably a little bit testy too, that like someone else could get into the Senate that dresses like a bum. Like that's sort of like stealing his thing.
Well, they are sort of they have a similar thing, right? That they grew up like upper middle class, and there is this like I'm just a normal guy thing. But Fetterman's thing is much more offensive to me, because it is his entire thing of going to Braddock and dressing like a fucking idiot is it is sort of like minstrelry. Whereas Graham Platner he's a real Billy Madison case. He could have, he could have been born into the Forbes family, and he still would be doing all the shit. He was born to be a fucking dunce. Nothing was stopping him.
Yeah.
I thought it was a skull and crossbones. All right.
It's cool to grab your wife's wrist.
Now it's sort of the I talked about this last Thursday. It's like the question is like, oh, how can Democrats question Donald Trump's personal character and integrity if they run a guy for Senate who's showing his dick to women and acting crazy and seeming like sort of an unhinged ex-boyfriend and possible dick pics out there. But then again, This is being contrasted with Ken Paxton winning a Republican primary.
Yeah.
And Ben, I know you're from Texas. Like
I
I
am,
was
yeah.
yeah, I was looking into the Ken Paxton, like the fact that he allowed this child molester to serve like a day in jail, and I was like, there's got to be more to this case. It can't be what it seems. And like essentially, what it is like the first trial resulted in a mistrial.
Oh, okay.
And then it was a question of, do we prosecute this case again and potentially re-traumatize the victim? At least this is the justification being given for why a guy who, molested a 9-year-old got like a day in jail and doesn't have to register as a sex offender. This is the argument being made by Ken Paxton and like his prosecutors. But like I said, for a guy running for office, that's a very bad look. That's a very bad look if that happens like under your authority. Under your authority.
Yeah, I mean, Texas is actually very like weak on crime. Weirdly, like
very certain kinds of crimes.
Like they only execute people who haven't done anything wrong, and then they let everybody else walk. Like Henry Lee Lucas was the only person that I think when George Bush was the governor, he pardoned Henry Lee Lucas. And Henry Lee Lucas is like, I'm in the fingers of death cult, and we cooked people in a big pot like Albert Fish. And like, it was like, I'm imagining Henry Lee Lucas appearing before George Bush, like that scene in Shawshank Redemption when he just tells him to go fuck himself and then he gets acquitted somehow, and he gets to walk. Like, he's like, we cut people's head off. We went bowling with him. And Otis O'Toole's there. He's all cockeyed. He looks like the fat guy from Laurel and Hardy. And they're talking about how they killed hundreds and hundreds of people. And for whatever reason, George Bush does not give him the death penalty. And this is like a common thing in Texas for whatever reason. I don't know what it is, but yeah. So I'm honestly, I'm not shocked there because was that an attorney that did that, the Ken Paxton thing?
Yeah, I mean, it was his prosecutor's office that they screwed up the original case that resulted in a mistrial, and like and then it's a question of like, these cases are hard to prosecute because like when you have a victim that's that young. Oftentimes, like their recollection of events, like it's very, and then like the question is like they're hiding behind the idea that they didn't want to re-traumatize this kid by putting him through a second trial.
They love that line. They did that with the Epstein stuff. They said that they were slow walking it because they didn't want to re-traumatize the victims. Their favorite thing, the victims.
But like this is not the only thing with Ken Paxton. I mean, I, aside from this fairly horrendous case, and like at the end of the day, like this is a guy who like is an admitted child molester who, like I said, spent like less than a month in prison and is now just free and doesn't have to register as a sex offender. But like Ken Paxton has a lot of other nasty shit too. Like you want to talk about, he was cheating on his wife. He was using state funds for all kinds of corrupt shit, and his eye looks weird. He's got like a fucking fucked up lazy eye. How could you vote for someone like that?
Disgusting. I love when someone's a bad guy and you get to like attack them for how they look and feel totally fine about it.
There's nothing better.
Oh, he should be wearing an eye patch. This is the first time I've seen a picture of him. Yeah. He should go Dan Crenshaw mode. They should both be rocking eye patches. He's got a Popeye thing going on.
Oh yeah, he kind of does. He what is that weird stuff that people would take to make it so their jaw has hypertrophy? Maybe he's doing that.
Maybe he's look maxing.
Yeah.
So I'm like my roots are deep into Texas, and my great grandfather was a Cicero Millsap. And he was just one of those guys in East Texas, like, have you read like The Empire of the Summer Moon, like stuff like that? Like these guys were going around and just taking out like tribes of Native Americans. And he was like very successful and he killed a lot of them. What's funny is like he accidentally, like in the middle of the night, he was really drunk apparently, and he like woke up out of his bed and he thought he heard something outside and he grabbed his revolver that he kept under his pillow and he blew his own head off.
That is same school of thought as Graham Platner's strategy for home intruder. Like, I'm gonna traumatize you so badly that you're not gonna fucking take anything, asshole.
I am picturing Platner, by the way, dance around with the axe, but he's never even heard of like Huey Lewis in the news. So it's just white noise. He's not cultured enough.
Yeah.
But
He's wearing one of those nice. He's wearing one of those nice, like lobsterman sort of marine sort of rain slickers. You know?
Yeah. When I think about like where I'm from in Texas and stuff, it's like the Cicero Millsap thing kind of rings like deep on some deeper level to me, because like once you run out of enemies, there's nothing left to do except, I guess, like accidentally blow your own head off. Like they won. So like you kind of have to keep inventing enemies. I guess you'll just like at 3 a.m. like stumble to the window, you know, mumbling some sort of slur. Be like, who's in the bush? And then like you literally like Looney Tunes style blow your own head off.
I think Greg Grandin, one of his books, is about that. About that phenomenon.
Yeah. Ben, last time we spoke, we talked a lot about Texas because I always, you and Jake from Penteo time, I consider you our nation's foremost experts in Texas.
I'm going to Jake's wedding on Saturday.
Oh, congratulations, Jake.
Yeah. Please give Jake and his bride our best regards.
Of course.
So the Paxton case, I wanted to talk to you about it specifically because, I mean, like, obviously, like the idea of someone in a position of power protecting a pedophile, like they know, is nothing new. It happens fucking everywhere. Pedophile, rapist, whatever.
Yeah, and you could find journalists that proudly defend them for what it seems to be like nothing, like the Michael Hastings, the Michael. Why did I confuse him with an actual journalist? Michael Tracy. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Well, he just like anything, whatever will get him the maximum yelled at, he will do. Like, he is just an all-purpose contrarian. He just, like, you can't stop him.
He's trying to get people to fight him outside the Hampton Inn in Washington, D.C. at like 2 a.m. It's like he's staying at hotels for like $89 a night, like on Hotel Tonight. And like, I don't know, like, why is he doing this just for the love of the game? Like, he's not even getting the $7,000 checks per tweet, it seems.
But you got it. It is the love of the game. It is the love of like contrarianism. Like being yelled at. He went to the reason for him being at the hotel and being yelled at was he went to something where I think Julie Brown, who wrote all those Miami Herald articles about Epstein like 25 years ago, she was there and he was like, you know, you're a liar. And all these fucking, like, you know, probably like Alexander Vindman was like, I'm going to beat your ass. And he was just, you know, here's my location, share your location, pussy. He's such a fucking funny person.
I mean, how much of this is like a humiliation fetish? I have started to wonder that about like many people's careers. Is they just like being pantsed every single day in the public eye, you know?
Yeah. It's got to be something like that. Like, I mean, the entire profession of journalism at this point is kind of like, I don't know, a profession for people who enjoy humiliation on some sort of sexual level, or they enjoy public acts of self-abasement.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it just in different degrees. Like for Tracy, it manifests as like this constant need for contrarianism, no matter what. Like, I have seen him do it about the wildest shit. I am pretty sure that like he was about to write a post that was like, has anyone, like, all the people who are criticizing the cops at Uvalde, why didn't the kids do something? And someone like stopped him, you know. Oh, what? So they have no responsibility to trust them to get themselves to school, but they can't save their own lives?
Yeah.
And someone in his life was like, Michael, Jesus Christ, no.
Spencer suggests that Michael Tracy should become the only white Bill Cosby truther.
Oh, a few people have beaten him to that, believe you me. But to get back to our original thing, you know, the rationale for people in positions of power who like let pedophiles and rapists and everything go is it's usually swept under the rug. But if they are confronted about it's usually some legalistic justification, like with Cyrus Vance and Harvey Weinstein. Or if you could give them some truth serum and read their mind, it would be the same rationale that actual pedophiles and rapists give, which is, well, I'm not an actual pedophile like those guys. The famous clip of Jeffrey Epstein saying, I hate pedophiles. There is a little bit of that in all fucking predators. But it seems like this sort of stuff happens so much in Texas. And I specifically mean like these cover-ups and these slow walkings when someone is friends with the right person, or just they themselves are the person they have some amount of local power, and a shocking amount of people stand by them. And I was just, as best as you can figure out with your experiences as a Texas guy, do you think it's more of a traditional thing of that predator delusion that I don't like tie people down, I'm not like one of those? Or do you think there is something sort of specific to the myth and bullshit ethos of Texas where, we're totally independent, and this sort of Taylor Sheridan, like, all we have is, our friends on the ranch, and people outside don't understand it. And sometimes you need a pedophile to let the worst pedophiles out.
That is like a funny concept of like, good can't defeat evil, or it becomes evil. That's like a trope in storytelling. Like, so bad has to defeat evil. But I mean, Texas now, it's just like, I mean, it's kind of unrecognizable from the place I grew up. Like it's just like Buc-ee's everywhere and just infinite highways. And, I mean, like Texas is an interesting place because it's like the space itself is the bureaucratic system. Like things are so far apart, you can hide within it's like you can run a long time unseen despite no place to hide. Like there's no trees, there's no nothing. It's just dirt. Just because no one is like looking up, like from their, whatever the fuck they're, like people wear cowboy hats. They don't work on ranches. They drive big work trucks. They don't work blue collar jobs. And Post Malone and those guys have really capitalized on that. It's the Abercrombie and Fitchification of like cowboys, which only existed from 1850 to 1860. It was a 10-year like kind of blip. But you look at like, do you remember the Texas slave ranch? That was like, this was like 1990 or 1980. This was,
oh yeah, I've heard of this. Yeah,
this was actually east of like Uvalde, and they would kidnap these people. They would like go to the border and get people and be like, "Oh, we'll pay you $10 a day to do X, Y, or Z," and then they'd get them to the ranch and they'd chain them up at night. And they were making little gift shop trinkets for decades. And it was a dad and his two sons were running it. And some guy finally escaped from it. And the people, like there was a whole trial and everything, and they just walked. But they found like a dead body like in a river.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
They found like bones and shit. Like they had been killing people. All to build like little snow globes that you could buy like
Jesus.
Like in a gift shop. Like I don't even know where. Just like a little slide whistle or something. But it's like, it's just so funny to be like they're not like tilling land. They're not like, you know what I mean? They're making snow globes. And like that to me is like such an interesting thing of like, is this really the final product of the Industrial Revolution? Is like people in dark rooms, like making kazoos? Is this the end? This can't be the end. And then you go, well, at least there's going to be some justice that comes of it. And then if you look it up at all, the people walked and the judge said it was fine.
Under what precedent? Like how? It sounds like there were dozens of people and surely they testified. Was it just did people like really love their trinkets? Were they like big figures in the town or something?
It says it was 1984, Mountain Home, Texas. I think this was east of Uvalde. 3,500 acre ranch. Yeah. Okay, I'm right about this. You know what's funny is like, okay, like let's look at like a bigger scale thing real quick. Like, Like if you go over to Belgium, right? Like
Yeah.
Mark Dutroux, like that guy, it was like barbarian shit. He had people in cages beneath his houses.
Yeah.
The police were coming. Like there was so much shit involved, and they were trying to delay the trial for like 15 years, and they were trying to sweep it under the rug and not let it happen. And thankfully,
like some
it
of the
looked
people
like
investigating that case end up being killed themselves.
Yes.
It's all kinds of demonic shit. That guy for a country as small as Belgium, it was just sort of like they're really batting out of their fucking fighting out of their weight class for that one.
and the victims only got justice because the town, like, have you seen the videos of like NFL draft day when all the Goyim gather, like in a, they all leave their Savannah Bananas like baseball games and they walk.
They walk.
That's what the streets of Belgium look like. And they demanded a trial and they fired the judge and they got like a new DA and a whole thing. And they actually put the motherfucker behind bars. And like, that's what it takes. But if the people don't demand it. So like, yeah, when I look into these cases, like why did the guy with a 100-person slave ranch in 1984 not go to prison? It's because no one cares. It's because no one's holding anybody accountable for anything.
Yeah, that is central. Like, and this is not just specific to Texas, right? Like this is something we talked about 10 years ago because we were sort of seeing the start of it. That this idea that the average person would be so beaten down and pessimistic about anything and feel so alienated from any true political process that could actually affect their lives that they would just give up before they started. That there could never be anything like this. And obviously, there have been instances of people surprising you. People will surprise you. And I really, I hate to ever just imply that all is lost. I think there is something especially like bad about doing that if you have something that people listen to. It's at that point, just, stop doing it. Kill yourself. But, going back to Uvalde, the few dozen people that actually were ready to do that were like the people in Belgium that you talk about. They were so isolated, no one else was willing to join them, and they just got stalked and harassed by those fucking pussy cops that wouldn't step foot inside the school. I mean, it is, again, not specific to Texas, but I do think Texas is the most extreme example of this, just the dichotomy between like, if anyone comes here and fucks with us, blah, 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 and then just
like try
taking
that.
it.
Try that.
Taking it.
Try that in a small town, but like what they're referring to, like try that. Like don't try this in a small town. It's like, I don't know, disrespecting the flag or like not putting your hand over your heart for the national anthem. They're not talking about slavery or serial killing, serial murders, or expecting the cops to do something when like a school full of kids are getting riddled with bullets.
Dude, get this, like, I grew up in Abilene, Texas, which is only relevant now because of the OpenAI data center that's being built there. And they had so much money that they would like make liquor stores close at a certain hour. They had a Hooters that was too close to the campus, like leave the city. They were like a gang that was roving around and making it, more Christian to be there. They have welcomed Sam Altman with open arms. They have welcomed the kiddie porn factory that is like OpenAI. It's draining all their resources, and as Jake would say, creating the Hitler computer. Like they have no problem with it as long as there's just not a Twin Peaks within 15 miles from campus and it's a dry county or whatever. Like
that's sort of dovetailing with another one of our favorite subjects, and again, not something specific to Texas, but something Texas excels at. Philo-Semitism. I think like the most extreme. We went on a road trip of the South when I was like 13, 14, and I don't know why the fuck we did it. It was me, my mom, and my dad. My brother and sister were already out of college, but my dad ruined the road trip for himself by reading the book Ghosts of Mississippi right before. So just every white he saw over 50, he was like, fucking piece of shit. But this is like 2004, like the height of global war on terror, and we like visibly Jewish. It was like we were greater than the troops, like everyone smiled at us. They were like, it was like they were seeing the real elves from Lord of the Rings. You know,
Yeah.
I never felt, I was like, I should move here. But I sort of collect and read crazy Philosemite posts. I read one the other day from this woman who was like, I'm a shiksa. And then later in parentheses, I know that's a slur, but that's how I see myself. And it's basically this woman who isn't Jewish. She's married to like a non-observant Jewish guy. And she goes to she searched for like, who is the meanest rabbi within 100 miles of me, and went to one who would just be like, okay, stupid white fucking, fucking barnyard animal. Shut up, get out of my face. And she's like, it made me feel so much better to get called a stupid piece of shit who will never be Jewish by this guy. And Texas, they have the most extreme form of this. But I think at the core of at least American philosemitism is it's self-hatred, right? If you've ever been close to someone who is truly self-hating, truly detests themselves, you feel awful for them, but eventually it's exhausting, especially if you're romantically involved with someone like that. Like it doesn't matter how attracted to them you are, how many amazing things there are about them. After a while, the way they see the world becomes so exhausting because they have this broad group of people that are untouchable, that they must measure themselves against, and they will always fall up short. They will always fall short, and it is another reason to punish themselves. And then they have a group of people that are beneath even them, who they constantly need to be around but bitch to you about. And it is like being around like a shitty little 12-year-old. But at its core, it is just, it's depressing. Someone who fucking hates themselves that much it's really sad. And all the philosemitism stuff, that's all I see when I see it now. It's these people who like know at their core, like, my life is a fucking lie. All I can do is just live in service of these perfect chosen people.
Yeah.
There could be a theological argument for them being, beyond compare for you.
Felix, I would add to that like the American version of this, like, this is not exactly a novel observation, but it is just another form of anti-Semitism, because these people don't like Jewish people. And for the most part, they associate Judaism with liberalism in big cities that they fucking hate, but they love Israelis and they love really religious Jews. And like, it's this weird thing where like, they can hate everything about Jewish culture and Jewish people, but like still hold them up like they're some sort of endangered species that speaking of Texas, it's like any other endangered species, put a fucking oil derrick through their skull tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like if some endangered owl, build a data center over all of them. Just shovel them in, but it's their weird affinity for Israel, because I think in Israel, especially with Texas, I think that there's an affinity there for this, Ben, like you said, what your great grandfather was doing, like this frontier psycho shit. And I don't know, Felix, Ben, did you see that thing that I saw this and I had to just simply applaud that thing that Israel did a couple of weeks ago, where they had like a world conference on Christianity, because obviously they're under a little bit of pressure now because both their settlers and military are killing and harassing. So, they're burning Christian villages in the West Bank. They're bombing some of the oldest Christian settlements in the world, in Lebanon. And generally, to be a Christian in Israel is to be shit upon, spat upon, literally. So they need to burnish their image for Christians, for evangelical Christians the world over. And they had this World Christian Conference where they got Christian leaders from like Germany and Korea to come to Israel and like come up on stage and start crying about how bad they've been and apologizing to Jewish people on behalf of all Christians for not supporting Israel enough. And I saw that and I was like,
they did race to dinner?
Yeah. I was like, yes, they did. Yes, exactly. They did exactly that. But they had I saw this Korean lady and she was crying and she was just like, we will never repent for our sins of what Christians have done.
Ma'am, you didn't do anything. Ma'am.
Like the German lady, the German guy, that's one thing.
Yeah, ma'am. When were the Korean pogroms? I mean, I don't like Samsung TVs very much, but that hardly qualifies.
But I saw that and I was like, I had to respect that. I was like, this is your conference to show how cool you are with Christianity. And it's like, hey, the state of Israel, we're not hostile. We're not a religious supremacist state that views anyone who's not us as lesser. And in fact, we love Christians. And then they just invite a bunch of Christians and make them fucking cry in front of them.
Dude, they
apologize to them. That's awesome.
They love doing that. Like,
that's fucking awesome.
I mean, everybody I grew up is basically like it's just a form of narcissism where you get to be stuck in this cycle of like, I need to be perfect like Christ. And then you sin and then you get to feel bad about it. And then you get to try again. It's just like a 4-step thing. And all 4 steps involve you just fucking thinking about yourself all the goddamn time. You don't think about anybody else. And so they love to like I grew up in a congregation where this like people will go up sometimes like kind of crying at the end and say that they've like sinned and that they've been bad. And like I remember this, me and my brother laugh about it all the time. Jace, he does a podcast with me with Devin Costa. And me and my brother grew up in this environment where, we're just like reading Far Side cartoons, like in the pew, like trying to just so bored, but like also being like hell is real and we're going to die and burn in a lake of fire forever because like I glanced at a woman's cleavage at school. And so like I'm going to be burned and tortured forever. But I remember this one old guy like ran up after the sermon and he started crying and he kind of almost pushed the preacher aside. Like, okay, we don't even really do this. And he was like, I need you to pray for me because I watched internet pornography. I'm sorry, y'all need to, I'm going to try to be better. Just a silent congregation listening to a 74-year-old man weep about like watching an Alexis Texas video is so funny.
Hey, he's in the right state.
Because I'm in Texas, goddammit. I don't jack off to that Mia Khalifa, that commie muzzy shit.
Say what you will about the Catholics, but at least at least all that shit is done in a closet behind closed doors. It's not shared with everyone,
I think that is such a great observation, Ben, that it is constant. You're constantly thinking about yourself, just like how, a self-loathing person is actually very narcissistic.
Yeah, they don't consider others or that they drag down the mood all the time or that, like, you make me feel bad because I feel like my love has failed you because it doesn't comfort you at all,
Yeah. I would always think about guys who do this, where they go, back when I was like a bad, sinful guy, I would use women by having sex with them. And it's such a weird framing of it to me because it's just like these women were basically helpless. It was like, dangling a treat in front of a dog. No matter whether you're sinning or not, you're so cool that they would just automatically gave up the pussy to you. They don't experience horniness. They don't experience anything. They don't have internal lives. They just are robots who exist to reward cool men through having sex, which they do not, in fact, enjoy. And thank God you've given that up. But the way you describe it's making me realize that they're living out their own Tyler Sheridan show. And just like TV, it never ends. That's why TV gets so bad after 3 seasons, is because you can't resolve the storyline. It has to keep going. And the contrivances you need to reintroduce the same problem that you keep solving just makes it worse and worse and worse. And that's what these people's lives are, because they keep wanting to have that, penultimate episode big monologue, but they do it every week in front of everyone they know. And that monologue is like, I watched Girl on Girl where it never went up, past above the panty mutual masturbation. And everyone's supposed to think, wow, what an amazing guy.
Dude, it gets even worse because the Christian university I grew up in, I remember we talked to some sort of Christian couples counselor, and a lot of people I knew got married when they were 19 to their high school sweetheart. So
Good
they
idea.
got married freshman year, and then they were divorced by sophomore year. And you have to get married because that's the only way you can have sex.
Because you have to have sex. So like,
Yeah.
that's why it's really funny when you see like a Mormon guy who's in his 30s and he's like, I'm still single. It's just like, we know. It's like, because like, look, you got to marry him off young because you cannot get anyone to abstain from sex past a certain age.
Well,
it's just not normal.
I know, but the problem is that these guys, like one guy ended up getting divorced from his wife because she was like apparently talking to her girlfriends and being like, yeah, sex is kind of weird. Like, you know, you got to like change the diaper and stuff. And they were like, wait, pause.
What?
And she was like, yeah, like they go pee-pee, they have like a binky in, you got to change them. And like all three of her girlfriends did this Shaq meme, like the timeout. Like, wait, what? And apparently this guy, I mean, the problem is like he was an ABDL guy, you know, adult baby diaper lover. Shout out to the community. He was one of those guys, and like they got divorced immediately, and he started making songs about it on Facebook with his acoustic guitar in his dorm room, which was really funny. About how like she was the one. And then I remember talking to a couples counselor, like therapist lady, and she said that the vast majority of couples, Christian couples she knew, were not only not having sex on their wedding night, they were then praying until God would tell them it was okay to have sex, but the man couldn't get hard. And these are like 19-year-old, like 18-year-old boys that are getting married. And it's because they've watched internet pornography for like 17 hours a day. And they have no relationship. Like they can't have a relationship with a woman. They've been taught that's the most evil, sinful, that natural, you know, whatever horniness that you feel is the worst thing you could possibly do. So they couldn't possibly have sex with their wife.
Ben, do you ever watch those, like, Spencer just brought this up, but like, this is a genre that I'm a huge fan of. Do you ever see those reels on Instagram from like couples where it's a man and a woman, and the woman, like, you know, like all IG reels is like sort of enlisted or sort of shanghaied her spouse into going along with like doing these shared couples content on Instagram. But it's all about how the man is addicted to pornography or struggling with pornography addiction. It's all about
those.
like how she holds him accountable. But like the whole, I mean, like the phenomenon you're describing is totally real. And there was like a big New York Magazine article this past week about how like straight men, gay men of all kinds now are like more concerned about their dick being too small than ever before, and are going to like increasing lengths to like find some way to get you some extra girth or size or whatever. And, you know, the cruel thing is like, there's really nothing to be done about it, but like, it's really only an issue because the only like fully erect cock that you ever see is through pornography. And like, you know, if you're comparing yourself to like those guys, like they're professionals. Okay. This is what they do for a living.
Yeah.
You're not going to,
well, I can't dunk from the free throw line.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know? But like, I think people are giving themselves these complexes because like pornography is like the real world of sex or dating and intimacy is so fraught that I think men in particular are just like retreating and brainwashing themselves through pornography and giving themselves all these complexes. But like the entire concept of pornography addiction, I think, is also really spurious because it's just like, how do you tell that you're addicted to pornography? It's like, well, because like I use it to jack off and I do that pretty much on a daily basis. Like, is that an addiction or is that just like, I don't know, but like it's a phenomenon that only exists among people who already think jacking off is sinful or wrong. So if you do it every day, you're like, the only way you can conceive of that is like, I have an addiction that I need counseling for. And if you're a man like alive in the 21st century, like usually pornography is what you use to, you know, self-gratify.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's the same as like if you have a friend who like, you know, might have like weird eating disorder stuff they haven't like confronted and they're like, I was really bad today. I had a potato. You're like, well, it's a wildly nutritious thing, but okay,
Yeah.
whatever, you know. But it's the same way with all those guys that like, I mean, your relationship with sex, I guess, can't just be a digital. It's kind of like you turn yourself into the cable guy. Have you seen that Jim Carrey film?
Of course,
you turn yourself into the cable guy, but with sex, where like you just have multiple personality disorder, but all the personalities are really horny, you know? So you can't function in the world anymore. That film's very dark, by the way. I rewatched it the other night. It's really dark.
I remember it being panned when it came out, but I remember really liking it.
Yeah, and shout out Ben Stiller, Courtside. He directed that.
Yeah.
He's got some sleepers. Shout out to all the billionaire pedophiles that enjoyed the Knicks game on the sideline. They brought the island right to us.
Obviously, I would have been in a much different mood today. Had last night.
Sure.
About the way
Sure. Congrats.
Like, game 3, I was like, going into game 4, I was like, we deserve to lose this fucking series. Because, like, if this is, like, to see basically the entire Epstein client list either in, like, the VIP box or sitting courtside was really, that was really great. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, all the stars were out.
Yep.
Oh my God! Yeah, no.
Jerry Seinfeld. They asked him after the game to say "Free Palestine." He said it doesn't exist. I don't know if you guys saw that clip. Or
no,
not.
I did see that clip. And I saw him. I saw him 2 years ago when he was at the Met game when the Mets were in the playoffs, and he was chanting. A camera was going by him, and it was like Jerry Seinfeld at the Mets game. He's Mr. Met. He loves the Mets, and he started chanting, "Let's go Mets! Let's go IDF!" He started chanting, "Let's go IDF" at the Mets game.
I had a little moment last night around like midnight. I was walking to the store and some guy got off the train stop close to my house and like just looked at me and went, "Yo, my man, we won." And I sort of like I had like
was the only person in Manhattan that wouldn't work on less.
and I was like, have you ever seen The Equalizer with Denzel Washington?
Of course, yeah.
You know how he does the thing where he looks around the room to look at all the stuff?
And then like does this, he dials his watch up.
I had that with like weighing my options of like, should I tell him that I don't like sports or tell him the truth that I only watch combat sports, but I'm not as big of a fan, or he won't. Why would he care about that? He's just going to think I'm a loser if I say I don't care. And I came out of it and I was like, all right, let's go. I think, I cannot. Sometimes I can really, I can really, I feel like I could really pass as a regular goyim. But then I have moments like that where I'm like, no, I cannot.
Yeah.
You were like,
Felix Biederman, born and raised San Antonio.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty fucking German name. If you
That's
ignore
true.
the fact that no German person has it.
you were like, Big Dog, I can't believe Christ Bearer and Big Lurch reunited at halftime. they got Donald Trump's stink off the Knicks, that's for sure. Before we close out today, I have just two more Texas politicians I wanted to talk about. The first is James Tallarico. Ben, I'm wondering if you have a read on this guy, because like I as best I can, like, of what I can tell of him, he's a former, like, I don't know, theologian or seminary student. He seems kind of like Pete Buttigieg, and I think like the Texas GOP is using that to run against him to basically just be like, he's gay. But I don't think he is gay. And now there's a story coming out that he's like dating a staffer or have dated staffers. Do you have any read on this James Tallarico guy?
I mean, he just seems like some like asexual guy they made in a lab for like libs of TikTok to get more engagement. Like they just love, like, libs of TikTok just post every day like a picture of him eating a rib and being like, look, he ate the rib wrong or whatever. I'm like, I guess this is politics now.
Ben, I did see something where,
what's your favorite barbecue, libs of TikTok?
yeah, she was.
Are you a rib tips kind of gal? Or,
yeah. Well, no. I remember. I saw a clip of Glenn Beck talking to Dave Rubin about a clip of James Tallarico eating what they said was a rib, and he was holding it with a napkin, and they were like, "Oh, that's not barbecue." And then Glenn Beck was like, "Dave, you're the only gay guy I know. You tell me, this is gay, right? It's gay to eat barbecue with a napkin, right?" Like in the clip itself, as you know, eagle-eyed observers will note that this was James Tallarico eating a giant turkey leg with a napkin to like hold the end of it. And like, this is weird to me because I remember back when Zoran was running for mayor and there was that clip of him eating rice with his hands. And all these same people were like, "Oh, disgusting. Oh, like this third world brownoid eating his slop with his fingers." And it was like, I don't get it. What are the rules here? I don't know.
It's Burger Reich. Everybody still shares that like citizenship test should be eating a double bacon cheeseburger or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And like,
Well, I mean,
the Reddit Reich.
that means Jewish people are out, by the way.
Yeah, no Israelis, yeah, for sure.
Well, only the observant ones, which is like, 15% of us, but they're growing geometrically every day.
So James Tallarico, I don't know if he could do it or not. I don't really know much about him or care. The only other Texas politician I do care about is Maureen Galindo.
Oh yeah.
Who's Maureen Galindo? Well, the answer is she's a local crank and nobody who lost her race for Congress, but she is like sort of like a local eccentric who is a well-known sex therapist and housing advocate who was essentially sort of promoted by the GOP as a kind of paper tiger candidate to like make the Democrats look kooky. But I will say Maureen Galindo is like I said, sex therapist, housing advocate. She's doesn't support Medicare for all. She's sort of moderate on abortion and gay issues. But I would like to talk about her because the part of her platform that got the most attention was that she said that we should castrate Zionists and put them in concentration camps. And I thought, let's hear her out on this.
Yeah, she kind of snapped there. She kind of went off.
Yeah, she kind of looks like Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. This is an interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is an interesting type of person. She's like a colonial sex doll or something. It's very strange.
Yeah, she's I was talking to Josh at Mentum about this, and this is like a candidate you're not going to see a ton of. You're not going to see a ton of them winning the primaries now, but maybe in 2 years you will. It is, we've talked about the inevitability of a Democratic Tea Party. Well, this is a lot of what it's going to look like. You are going to have people who are going to some positions where you're like, holy shit, that's from Jeremy Corbyn's 2017 manifesto or Jean-Luc Mélenchon, where they're like, we need to nationalize all the utilities, but I'm against Medicare for all. And also I want a left-wing version of Doge. I mean, that was basically her platform.
Yeah, just a bunch of broccoli-haired kids in like Che Guevara t-shirts. Just like,
yeah.
I guess castrating the Israelis. I mean, what would it look like? What is a left-wing Doge?
According to
the left-wing Doge should be finding more ways to spend government money.
Well, no, she literally did have a part of her platform that was like, we'll do this. We'll have this department for government efficiency, but it's going to like, we'll get rid of all the Israel stuff and like talent here.
I would say,
which like not a terrible idea. It just, I would like someone other than a sex therapist to do it. But hey, you got something to learn from everyone in this world.
I would think like a left-wing Doge, in my opinion, would be like, where are we going to cut from the federal budget? And I would like a left-wing administration to like take an axe to like any money that's currently going to support any rural part of the country. Like to give them electricity, the internet, hospitals, things like that. I think it's just like you want to be on your own, and if you don't, move to a fucking city. That would be my version of left-wing Doge.
That's pretty good.
I'm saying no more roads, no more electricity, none of that New Deal shit. Just like either live on your own or rejoin society. But crucially, no rural broadband access because that's only made people go on Facebook more. That's bad. Get rid of it.
I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. And I think that's a good if you made everyone who lives, if you have to round up to justify them getting a congressional rep, you have to be on dial-up.
Like no more subsidies for agriculture, no more like grazing cattle on national parks and federal land and stuff like that. Get all these moochers and also no more healthcare for veterans as well. That would be my platform I'm running on.
Yeah, I'm sick of those welfare queens.
Yeah, like guys like fucking Graham Platner. Yeah. He's still on 100% disability. He doesn't look disabled to me. Apparently his dick works great. It's just funny strong as fuck. He's laying pipe everywhere. He's loving it with my fucking tax dollars. Getting fucking spicy tattoos. He's fucking like every woman in DC who all hate him, but probably because the dick was strong as fuck. So So no more handouts for people like that. And then what do they do with it? They go on to start some fucking oyster business and then run for Senate. No more of that.
Isn't like the most subsidized? Isn't it like farming and like agriculture?
Agriculture.
Well, yeah, 100%. They are. I mean, being a corn farmer is like the ultimate no-show job.
It really is.
Have you noticed every time farmers like bitch about like, oh, we put food on your table, they never go into specifics. They're never like, oh, I have to get up at this hour. I have to do this. I have to do that. They're just doing nothing.
And like most of these people,
like three agribusiness farms that make all the corn that ruins all the food, and then everyone else is just getting a check for saying they're a corn farmer.
Yeah, that's another group of people that like they're getting the shaft and left wing doge. Farmers of any kind, no more money for farmers. Sorry.
Yeah, unless it's like a Mel Gibson sign situation, then I think we should keep. Because I'll support a farmer if they have like a big Hershey's Kiss on their head and, they're running around with a baseball bat or whatever. Like, that would rock.
Yeah.
That would rule. If they think they're being gang stalked by aliens, then like let's keep sending them a check.
Either that or they'll be like Shoeless Joe Jackson will walk out of their fucking field or something. Like, they got like some sort of ghost portal in the baseball-based ghost portal. Where you could come and visit and play catch with your dad and stuff like that. I suppose that's useful. But as far as I can tell, they're not feeding anyone. Yeah. They're not even farming. They're just landowners. Ranchers are even worse. That's another thing.
God.
Federal subsidies for wolves. Like to give wolves weapons to better kill cattle.
Yeah. And the cattle who own the cattle.
Yes.
Yep. The Zog cattle. The true cattle. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up there for today. I want to thank our guest, Ben Avery. Ben, thanks so much for joining us today. If people would like to listen to your podcast or have just more Ben Avery in their life,
yeah, sure.
What should they do?
And I just want to say thank you guys. You guys are really, really funny, and I really enjoy your guys' show. So thank you for having me on. And yeah, you can find more of our stuff. My podcast is called Lemon Party. We're not technically on YouTube, but you can find us on Spotify and stuff, Lemon Party Podcast. And we're at patreon.com/Lemon Party. You can find us there. It's me and my brother, Jace Avery, who's really funny, and my good friend, Devin Costa, who's insanely funny. And I also do live streams from my own website at benavery.live. I do those usually every Thursday or Friday, come hang out. I also stream them to my ex for free and then delete them. But yeah, that's it.
All right, cool. Well,
pleasure was all ours. We've also been big fans of you. You're one of the only guys where you got banned from YouTube, and I was actually usually when people get banned from YouTube, I'm like, okay. Let me guess. You went to Jack's Film's house with a gun. But with you, I was like, no, this is bullshit. I'm going to his house with a gun and an SS sniper wolf just to even it out.
Yeah,
I don't care. This is bullshit. I'm fucking I'm really glad we finally got to have you on.
Yeah,
thanks. Thank you guys.
The feeling is mutual. We'd love to have you back.
I would love to.
Anytime. Yeah, open door policy for Ben Avery in the future. Now that you got your first ticket punched.
Thank you, and I'll say hi to Jake at the wedding this weekend from you guys.
Oh yeah,
I'll be with him all weekend.
Jake
yeah, absolutely.
And his soon-to-be wife. All of our love from everyone at Chapo to Jake, and congratulations to him on the wedding this weekend.
Just as we close out here, people have been listening for at least a year, will remember the episode about the scurrious University of Michigan prosecutions or attempted prosecutions against anti-genocide protesters at that university in 2025. This was a good instance of Chapo curves, of course, where we were fortunate enough to talk to some of the people involved with the protests there, who were friends with the people who were rounded up by Attorney General Dana Nessel and the FBI in an attempt to scare the shit out of them And right before we released the episode, a judge threw all the charges out. But I was just told this morning that Kash Patel has taken this over and is essentially trying to refile the same charges, but against an expanded group of people this time.
Oh, right.
If you remember the specifics of the case, they basically alleged that they attempted to commit chemical warfare against the dean of University of Michigan by putting signs up on just on a faculty building. The charges this time include intimidating a witness, which carries a potential 20-year prison sentence, which, if you are familiar with the last round of this, is the actual facts of the case show you that is fucking ridiculous. We're obviously hoping for an outcome just like last time, and that Kash fucks this one up too, but you can never be too safe. So
Well, I guess we found a case that state prosecutors will try again a second time.
yeah,
They're not worried about
well,
re-traumatizing the dean of students at University of Michigan.
yeah. Well, I mean, we will. I imagine we will probably do a follow up on that episode. But in the meantime, we will have a link to the GoFundMe for the legal defense for these students who are facing down this federal dragnet against anyone who dares even mention Israel. So be on the lookout for that. And I assume in the very near future we will go more in depth on this.
Yeah, this is a case that definitely warrants a follow up, because this is very much, they're doing the Palestine Action playbook here in the United States. Like
absolutely,
what the UK has done to Palestine Action in prescribing them and then prosecuting them as terrorists in a case in which the jury weren't even aware of the charges that they were facing. Like the complete abrogation of freedom of speech or the right to protest in this country as it pertains to one single foreign country. So you will not need us to tell you the stakes involved here in this. So please look for that GoFundMe as well. That would be a very worthy cause.
Yeah. We realize times are tough, but if you're so inclined, if you're able to, if you have some money burning a hole in your pocket, this is I can vouch for all the people involved. That these are very brave people who impressed me a lot every time I spoke with them from last year until now. So we'll have that up, and look for anything on that related to that in the future.
All right.